How's it going, everyone? This is MOS Tricks, and in this video I wanted to give you guys an honest first impression of Call of Duty Cold War in the alpha. So first things first, of course this is only an alpha build, so I'm not going to be overly hard on how this game looks or how it actually plays, but I just want to give you an honest opinion on what we have so far with regards to the game. So far, I've seen quite a few reviews online with regards to this game in the alpha build, and not a lot of good ones. I can't lie, so far a lot of people are not really happy with how this game looks, how the sound effects are, how the animations are, and I feel like, yes, it isn't an alpha build still, so it's going to change and there's going to be some updates. Maybe it's going to be a little bit more polished once we get the final build of the game. But with that being said, of course, this is still going to be a first impressions video with the alpha, because of course that's all we have. And I'll admit, my first couple of games in this game were pretty bad. Honestly, like as soon as the game started off, there were a lot of explosions and stuff like that, and the frame rates were dropping like crazy. It was very stuttery, and I was honestly kind of let down. I was thinking to myself, okay, this is the first time playing this game, and it felt kind of choppy, unfortunately. But with that being said, I gave the game an honest chance. I played maybe for like 6 or 7 hours and really got a feel for the maps, try to give myself a chance to learn what some things are before saying that I just felt very disoriented and stuff like that. So as much as there are some bad things to talk about, there are quite a few pros to this game so far, so I'm going to be going over those as well. So one of the things I actually do like the most so far is that there's no more tactical sprint. This might be a bit of a mixed opinion for some people. Maybe they really liked having that a little bit of a speed increase, but now that we don't have that anymore, I find that I'm dying a lot less. Also, I find that other people are having a chance to challenge me in gunfights a little bit more safely, and we're not having those run around the corner, we both kind of fire wildly, or people are jumping around corners quite as much out of their tactical sprint. It really slows the game down, but it makes it more about aiming and shooting, more so than the element of surprise and catching people off guard. With that being said as well, now, I kind of like the aspect of sliding when we're shooting now a little bit more. I feel like it's just another movement option that isn't 100% necessary. I feel like maybe cameraing people in this game, it still is going to be strong, but not quite as strong as it was in Modern Warfare, mixed with the time to kill being a little bit higher. So sliding now feels like it's more of a movement option rather than just a way to try and get your tactical sprint back, and you're not sliding all over the map just for the sake of trying to move faster, and instead you are using it to try and camera people to an extent. So I do enjoy that aspect. I have this next one in both the pros and the cons, and that would be the footsteps and the footstep volume. As you can see in this part of the clip, I'm actually listening to someone's footsteps and I don't even know where they're coming from because the footsteps themselves are so loud and you can hear people from so far away. Of course, this is a good thing, so you don't get snuck up on, but at the same time, I don't know if half of these people are actually running the ninja perk. And if they are and their footsteps are still this loud, I feel like that is a very unbalanced perk that should actually be turned up and made stronger, because realistically, I feel like it's almost a waste if people are trying to run this perk so they feel like they can sprint up on people. It shouldn't be quite dead silence. I understand that there should be still a little bit of audio from the footsteps, but realistically, at least to me, the way I described it, it sounds like someone's running up to me wearing like snowboard boots or like steel toe shoes, just running up and stomping around. And if that's what it sounds like with the ninja perk on, then I feel like that is pretty bad, honestly. And for me, I was running the ninja perk. I don't know if people were doing the same thing against me. I really feel like a lot of people were running that perk, especially since we have the wild card perk where you can run 2 of the same perks at the same time. So in this case, it would be Ghost and Ninja. Also, since it is a new perk, people want to at least probably try it out. So I feel like the majority of people in these matches were using it, and it was still very loud. So like I said, the mixed review as far as is it a pro or a con, it was a pro because you're going to notice in this gameplay, I actually never died. And I can attribute that to never getting snuck up on because the footsteps were so loud. But at the same time, the con being that I also never died. No one had the element of surprise on me where they could sneak up, and if they were in fact using that perk, I feel like it was a huge waste. The next thing though that I really do like about this game is the health bars above your opponent's head. This lets you know that you are in fact hitting your opponent when you're shooting at them. One of the most infuriating things about Modern Warfare, to me at least, depending on your connection with the game, is sometimes it felt like you got crazy hit markers and nothing happened. People would just be running through bullets and then they'd turn and maybe shoot you once or twice and you just die immediately. So at least with this, we do have some confirmation saying, okay, my bullets are actually hitting. You have the sound of the hit markers, you have the hit markers themselves, and then you have the life bar going down. I'm pretty sure as well that you have the ability to turn the life bar off if you don't want to see it, but I personally really do enjoy knowing that my hits are connecting and I should stay challenging this person. Also, in my opinion, I put this also in the pros section, is that I was actually playing on a pretty poor internet connection because I just got my internet upgraded today. I recorded this last night, and while I was playing, I still felt like my hit registration was pretty good, even though my connection itself was not incredibly strong. I wasn't playing on 300 upload, 300 download or anything like that, and I still felt pretty competitive, which is a nice feeling, especially if you're someone who might be new getting into this and you haven't already spent a ton of money on your setup. It allowed me to play a little bit more confidently because, like I'd said in the past, as far as like with Modern Warfare, I'd feel like if I didn't get any hit registration, I would just try and challenge somebody. I would put like what felt like 6 or 7 bullets into them. They'd turn to me, shoot me once, and I'd immediately die. In this game, it does not feel like that, and that is a great feeling. It makes you feel, like I said, much more confident to actually try and challenge people and not set up to be camping and hiding the entire game because you feel like you just have no chance out in the open against your opponents. And to go along with that as well, one of the other things that I kind of think I like it so far, is that they've taken away assists. So now if you are shooting at someone and somebody else jumps in on that kill and maybe finishes off your kill, if you put 5 bullets into someone and then someone else gets the last hit and finishes them off, you still get credit for that kill. So now everybody's stats, in my opinion, look a lot better. You can be dropping 10 kills, 15 kills, or 20 kills and actually getting credit for them, whether or not you do half the work or get 1 bullet or the entirety of the kill. In Modern Warfare, a lot of the time there was kill stealing that would be happening, and there was no stat for your assists to say, okay, you've got this many assists in a game, and although you may have only gotten, let's say, 4 or 5 kills, you did get maybe 12 or 15 assists, which was incredibly infuriating. If you do happen to play a lot of pubs, or maybe you did play CDL, maybe not at a super high level, but you're trying to get into it, and you found yourself at the bottom of the leaderboard, maybe your connection wasn't very strong or anything like that, it felt very discouraging, where it's like you thought you were doing really well, and then you look at your score, and it's like, hey, I only have 8 kills, 9 kills, whatever it is, and your opponents or your teammates all have 20 plus kills. So now that this has been joined together, whether or not you feel like it's kind of making the game too easy or it's inflating people's stats, it's going to encourage a lot of people to stay playing the game because they actually feel like they're contributing and getting kills. And lastly, this one I kind of had on the fence, but the more I played this game, the more I understood the flow of how it actually worked. And I think at the end of the day, I'm going to put this in the pros side of things, and that is the game itself feels slower overall, which ultimately makes the game more methodical. And to me, I feel like that's a good thing. Like I said, I like the idea of having to actually aim and shoot to win your gunfights rather than jump around a corner and catch someone off guard, put 1 or 2 bullets in them and they just get destroyed and they don't even realize what happens. It makes it more competitive rather than having people hiding in corners with shotguns or jumping around corners and, like I said, catching you off guard, cameraing you, or you even cameraing them, to where the game turns into more of a jump scare game, more so than actually shooting and actually trying to win by aiming on your opponent for a longer period of time. And then lastly, I just want to talk about a few cons that I had about this game so far. And the number one thing I'd say for sure has got to be the graphics. Right now, it feels very much so like we're playing an arcade game. I'm sure if you've watched any other reviews, everybody is saying this feels like a step backwards. But of course, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, yes, this is still an alpha build. Nothing about this game right now, especially only being on PS4, tells us that this is going to be how the game is for sure in the final build, especially since we have 2 new gen consoles coming out. I think the 3080 graphics card for PC just dropped not too long ago. So to say that this is the final build and this is as good as it's going to get, there's a possibility. I can't say guaranteed that it's going to get better, but I feel like we still have a chance to have a smoother, cleaner looking game. Not to say that it already doesn't look decent, but for the new gen systems coming out, there's no way that this is the top of the line or the best they're going to do. Also, with that being said, the frame dropping, especially when like airstrikes or any sort of kill streak comes in that's going to shake your screen, in my opinion, that it feels out of control as far as how many frames are dropping. I get that they're trying to make it look a little bit crazy with like the screen shaking and like trying to get a little bit more immersive with having the sound effects all over the place. If you have Rumble on your controller, it does feel pretty intense. I personally don't play with Rumble, but when I started out, I did have it just on by default. And it's like, okay, this feels pretty huge, but at the same time, it's like this, it doesn't look good. So if that's going to get cleaned up, then no complaints there as far as the immersiveness, but it's the frame dropping right away. It made me feel like I was playing almost on like a PS2 or something like that. It was not good. And then lastly, I already touched on this before, but just to bring everything back home again, is just going to be the ninja perk. I feel like it's just not strong enough. In the case of the amount of people, I could easily hear their footsteps if they're sprinting or walking. In the case of if they were actually using the perk or not, I don't actually know, but if they were using that perk and I could hear them that easily, I feel like it's genuinely a waste of space. The way that Call of Duty works, I'm sure we're going to get a ton of balance patches, and it is going to probably get fixed or cranked up to the point of where it's actually useful or at least some sort of a threat. But for right now, if this is how it's going to stay for at least a little while, I feel like it should be changed or it's just not going to be worth running. And with that, that's going to be my honest review and first impressions of the gameplay of Cold War. I know I didn't really talk too much about the guns or the maps themselves, but I just want to talk about more so the mechanics of the things I like and the things I don't like. In future videos, we are going to get into the maps, the layouts, the game modes, and the guns. Of course, in the alpha, we don't have access to absolutely everything, so for me to say that, let's say I don't like this map, there's so much more that's going to be offered in the full build of the game, so we're going to save that for another video. Lastly, I want to mention, of course, if you did happen to find this video and you do click through to my channel, you'll notice that this is a brand new YouTube channel. I personally have been doing YouTube for a pretty long time with a different game, and I have been slowly transitioning over and learning how to play Call of Duty and trying to get into the more so competitive side of the game. So I'm going to be dropping reviews on guns, reviews on different game modes, how to be playing with a team, and all kinds of different things on the side, more so of CDL, maybe some pubs, and we might even get into some Warzone as well and try and keep it pretty inclusive on the channel. But if there's anything that you'd like to see, please be sure to leave a comment below of what you'd like me to do a review on. Like I said before, whether it's how perks work, if it's going to be how guns work, talking about recoil patterns, best and worst attachments, and everything in between. So with that being said, please be sure to subscribe to the channel because like I said before, we are a brand new channel. At the time of uploading this video, we will have 0 subscribers, but we are going to be getting there. You can also expect a ton of high quality content coming out on this channel because like I said before, I have been doing YouTube for a very long time. My other channel is called Meta of Smash, which is just around 30,000 subscribers, so I'm definitely not new to YouTube, and there's going to be a ton of activity on this channel. So if you're looking for somewhere new that you're going to be able to interact with a pretty large community that's going to be coming pretty soon in the future, like I said before, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. And once again, this is MOS Tricks saying thanks for watching the video.